Now comes Shadow Minister Rachel Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I want to thank the Minister for advance sight of his statement. Yesterday's announcement was a huge victory for our nuclear test veterans and their families. Finally, these veterans will now receive the long overdue medallic recognition that they so deeply deserve. When I've met nuclear test veterans and their family members in meetings and at rallies, I found their passion for justice truly inspiring. And I want to take this opportunity to specifically congratulate the tireless perseverance of nuclear test veterans campaigners that made today's announcement happen, including Labrats, BNTVA, the Daily Mirror and their columnist, the relentless Susie Boniface. I was privileged enough to join them at the National Memorial Arboretum yesterday to witness the announcement and hear their moving testimonies. The outburst of applause was followed by deep sighs of simple relief that these medals have finally been agreed to, 70 years on from the first British test of a nuclear weapon. Our country owes the nuclear test veterans from across the UK and the Commonwealth a debt of gratitude. Their service far away from home ensured the UK had a nuclear deterrent as part of our security and safety. They made this commitment to our country at great personal cost. Reports state that nuclear test veterans have a legacy of cancers, blood disorders and rare disease, while their wives report 3 times the usual rate of miscarriage. Their children also have 10 times the normal amount of birth defects and are 5 times more likely to die as infants. This was the cost of our nation's safety. Today's statement is the House's opportunity to say thank you to our nuclear test veterans for their service and their deep personal sacrifices. So on behalf of the Labour Party, I want to thank the nuclear test veterans who served at operations Hurricane, Totem, Mosaic, Buffalo, Grapple, Antler, Dominic, Kittens, Thames, Rats, Vixen, Ayres, Hercules and Brumby. I know that only around 1,500 of the 22,000 service personnel who took part in these trials are thought to still be alive, so I hope the nuclear test veterans' families and descendants finally feel that this historic injustice has been recognised. It is completely right that these medals can be awarded posthumously. Their dedication to our country will not be forgotten. The Labour Party has been proud to give nuclear test veterans our fullest backing. The Shadow Defence Team has consistently supported their campaign for justice, together with my honourable friend, the Member for Parliament for Salford and Eccles. And the Leader of the Opposition was also the first party leader to meet with the nuclear test veterans and their families and commit his support to their campaign. To ensure this never happens again, we are committed to a complete review of the system for awarding medals to serving personnel and veterans. The recognition they deserve should not require having to resort to lengthy campaigns or ministerial interventions. So will the Minister commit to ensuring the eligibility criteria for the nuclear test veterans medallic recognition is as wide as possible? And what resources will be put into finding living descendants of nuclear test veterans to receive posthumous medals? And as my final point, will the Minister support Labour's proposal for a root and branch review of the whole medals process? Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank my honourable friend for her kind words. She's absolutely right to pay tribute to the campaigners in this space. You know, as politicians, obviously, we come and go, but these individuals have been campaigning over many, many years. I met a man yesterday who started 60 years ago campaigning for a medal. And I paid tribute to them. I paid tribute to their relentlessness and their ability to keep going. And I'm delighted we've been able to do something in this space, cognizant of the fact that there is more to do. When it comes to eligibility, of course, the eligibility will be as wide as we possibly can. And we're determined that whilst this announcement is one thing, actually delivering it to people for whom it means so much is where the challenge lies. There are resources going into this. You know, part of what we're doing, £450,000 we've committed to gathering an oral archive, which will require us to go around and gather these experiences and work with groups such as Labrats or the BNTVA and others to get it right. When it comes to the honours system, look, I think the Defence Secretary has been clear on this, that going forward, he is prepared to look at how military operations sort of fit into the bracket of medallic recognition. I do think, though, we need to be very careful around political interference in that. But I think that the Defence Secretary has made his position clear on a number of occasions about this particular issue. In fact, that work started. We saw Operation Pitting during the summer, where medals were awarded outside of the usual parameters. So I think that's an ongoing discussion we can certainly have.